The question posed today is, why am I not able to remember my previous births? In childhood, I would sometimes get the feeling, oh, this happened to me before. Oh, I have seen this earlier. But I could never explain those feelings, and now they have completely died out. Well, I'll tell you examples of people who remembered much more of their past life. Many such episodes have been documented by Dr. Ian Stevenson in his 2,000-page book on reincarnation. Manju Sharma was born in the village of Pasali in 1969 in the state of Madhya Pradesh. When she was just 2 years old, she started relating to her parents that she was actually Krishna from a village called Chamula, and she would narrate the episode of her death. It seems that when she was a 9-year-old, she had taken the deity of Krishna to bathe it in a well, and in the process she had fallen into the well and died. She remembered her previous father's name and brother's name. The parents dismissed it as childish gibberish, but she insisted and asked to be taken to meet her old family. Then, one person from Chamula came on his bicycle to sell things in Pasali. Seeing him, little Manju came and grabbed his leg and said, "You are my relative." He said, "But I do not know you." She said, "You are my father's brother." "Who is your father?" "Ladli Sharan. I was 9 years old when I died." Now, Ladli Sharan's brother, Babu Ram, remembered that his brother's daughter had died. So Manju pleaded to be taken to meet her old parents. Babu Ram said he would do it later. On return, he informed Ladli Sharan and his wife they had been badly missing their daughter. The first to go and check was the mother. She came back and said that Manju was truly their old daughter. Next, Krishna's brother went. He also came back and confirmed. Finally, the father went and realized that Manju was Krishna come back. Now they beseeched Manju's parents to have the opportunity to take her to her old home for a little while. They agreed on the condition that Manju's present brother would accompany her. When this episode came to the ears of Dr. Pasricha, a parapsychologist in Delhi, she went to research. By then, Manju had become an 8-year-old and paid many visits to her old village of Chamula. Subsequently, she went on to marry around the age of 20. By now, she had literally forgotten the details of her past life, but used to still visit her old parents. Let me now tell you an even more astonishing episode of remembering the past birth. Titu Singh was born in a little village a small distance away from Agra. When he was just 4 years old, he started telling his parents that he was actually Suresh. From Agra, he owned a radio shop and had a wife and daughter. He would tell his parents that he had been murdered, and he even remembered the names of his murderers and would request that he be taken back. His parents would turn a deaf ear but would be frustrated with his insistence. One day, Titu Singh's brother happened to be in Agra and decided to check out the place. He was astounded to see a board, Suresh Radio Shop. He inquired from the shopkeeper, Uma Devi. She informed him that her husband one day was returning from the outside. But before she could open the door, while he was getting out from his car, he had been murdered. Nobody had been able to find out who the murderers were. Titu Singh's brother then related how his younger sibling claimed to be Suresh. Now, Uma Devi and Suresh's parents and Suresh's 3 brothers, they all went to the little village to meet Titu Singh. When he saw them all, in joy he started embracing them, and euphoric, he began drumming on the table with his knuckles as Suresh used to do. They were thrilled to know about it. This news later on came to the ears of Dr. Chadda from Delhi University. He went to research and he asked Uma Devi that how did she finally get the confirmation that Titu Singh was her old husband. She said that he related the episode when the 2 of them had gone for a picnic and he had given to her a box of sweets, and this was known to nobody else. So these are stark cases where people have remembered their past lives in great detail. How does this happen? Let us understand the theory behind it now from my latest book, Questions You Always Wanted to Ask. Every soul in the material realm is bound by 3 bodies: gross body, subtle body, and causal body. The technical names for them are Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, Karan Sharir. At the time of death, the soul discards its gross body and departs with the subtle and causal bodies. However, the process of death is very painful. It wipes away most past life memories. Subsequently, the process of birth is even more painful for the soul. These 2 episodes erase literally all recollections of the past. Hence, the common norm is that people do not remember their previous births. Yet, there have been exceptions in all cultures of the world. People who remembered an earlier lifetime. The Nyaya Darshan explains, Jatasya harsha shoka bhaya sampratibhataha. Take a look at a little infant. For no reason, it suddenly becomes fearful. Sometimes it breaks into joy. Sometimes, without provocation, it begins crying. The Nyaya Darshan explains what is happening. Memories of the past life have not yet been completely erased, and they are causing these sentiments in the infant. But then as the child keeps growing up, the impressions of this life fall so strongly that the past life memories then become a closed book. Consider, for example, if you are sitting in a dark room and watching a slide show, you are able to clearly see the images on the screen. But if a floodlight is turned on in the room, the screen will blank out. The strong light erases the images from your slide projector. Likewise, the subconscious mind, which is a part of the subtle body, is continuing from past lifetimes. And yet, the pain of death, the pain of birth have erased so many of the memories. And the images of this life fall so strongly, they erase the rest. Yet from time to time, we remember things. And this is what causes the experience of what the French called déjà vu. The feeling, oh, I have seen this before. Our Vedic scriptures are able to explain why déjà vu happens. So although past life memories are forgotten, the sanskars remain. Just like, for example, a little seed has the life force to manifest a huge tree. Likewise, whatever we do, whatever we think, creates sanskars in our causal and subtle body, and those sanskars carry forth with the soul from lifetime to lifetime. The goal, however, is not unnecessary curiosity about our past life, rather to discover our eternal relationship with our Supreme Father. Take the case of Chitraketu. The Bhagavatam relates his story. He had many queens, but no child. And therefore, he was in great grief. Once the two sages, Narad and Angira, happening to pass by, came to give him darshan. He expressed his grief before them. They both said, look, why do you create this desire for a child? Be contented with what you have. But on his insistence, they blessed him with a boon, saying he would get a child who would be the cause of great joy, but also a source of misery. Subsequently, his chief queen, Kritadyuti, became pregnant, and a few months later, she gave birth to a child. Chitraketu would dote on his little baby tremendously. So naturally, the child's mother, Kritadyuti, became extremely dear to Chitraketu, which created envy in the hearts of the other queens. And one day, they fed poison to the child, and the child passed away. Now the amount of joy that Chitraketu had got from the child, he experienced the same amount of grief. Angira and Narad came by again to see how he was doing and saw him plunged in an ocean of grief. They then invoked the soul of the child, and the child appeared as a voice. Chitraketu ran, "You are my dear little boy." The soul responded, "I am not your child. I have had endless lifetimes and made as many fathers and mothers. I am in fact your enemy from your past life who came to give you pain." Hearing the words of that soul, Chitraketu became detached and started off on the path of spiritual sadhana. So we have made numerous parents in past lives. The idea is not to find out who all they were. Sri Krishna deliberately makes us forget the past lives. He says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. Arjun, I have had numerous births and you too. The difference is that while you neither remember my avatars nor your births, I remember both my dissensions and your births. As per the grand scheme of God, we forget the past birth, which is good for us. Imagine what would happen if we remembered all the bad deeds we did in endless lifetimes. That is erased from our memory so we can move forward. To make our present life a success, we must curb unnecessary curiosity of past lives and focus on discovering our eternal relationship with our supreme eternal Father.